In this video, I'm going to show you guys how to do your front kick so you can knock people out just like this.
Like we said, second to none. Oh! He front kicked him in the face!
Are you interested? Well, let's get going. My background is in Shotokan karate. Now, I haven't practiced that style in well over a decade, but I've still got hips like Shakira. So listen up, right? We're going to be doing the front snap kick today. Now, by far the more popular variation of this kick is the push kick, or the teep as it's known in Muay Thai. Now with a teep or a push kick, your opponent gets thrown backwards. They get really pissed off and then they come back at you with more determination than ever. Unless, of course, they've got a bottomless pit straight behind them.
This is blasphemy. This is madness. This is Sparta!
Now with a snap kick, it's a little bit different, right? Now I don't remember who first described it like this to me, so apologies for the lack of reference here, but when you kick somebody with a snap kick, they don't stagger backwards, they go straight down like a controlled demolition. Almost like a jack-in-the-box folding in on itself, and I think that's super cool. So that's what we're going to try and recreate today, and I'm going to give you some tips on this. So I have it broken down into 3 teaching points, 1 do not do, and then a bunch of drills that can help you to improve your snap kick and your hip flexibility and dexterity overall. So let's get stuck in. So part 1, first teaching method, is going to be the foot shape. So this is the connection point between you and your opponent. Now think of it like this. You could have the best swing in the world, but if the edge on your samurai sword is blunt, you're decapitating no one that day. So this is all about the shape of the weapon right at the point of impact, and in this case it's got to be your foot. So the striking area, I'm just going to put this down for a second, the striking area that you're going to be hitting with is actually the ball of the foot, which is this part of your foot right here, okay, just below the base of the toes. It's not the sole, not the entire sole of your foot, and it's not the heel. So getting your foot shape to expose that exact area is very important, and it has to be locked in position also. So let's have a look at that really quick. Again, this sexy angle here, watch this. Right, so your foot has to be, your ankle has to be flexed forwards, okay? So you got to flex your ankle forward, but at the same time, you got to pull your toes back. So if your toes are here and you stab someone with that, you're breaking your toes, right? So don't do that. Ankle forwards, toes back, okay? And as I say, that's got to be locked in position, because you don't want to just kind of lightly make your foot that position, and then just as you hit the target, your whole ankle just collapses into a heap, and then you start tearing tendons and ligaments and stuff like that. So that's number 1, the foot shape. Part 2 is the supporting leg. Now, in my experience, the supporting leg is often way more important than the kicking leg in almost every kick that we throw, and it's very often overlooked. In this case, that's absolutely true. So have a look at this for a second. So when we do a push kick, right? So let's say I do a Muay Thai push kick here, then that supporting leg ends up leaning directly at the target. So my front knee is going to end up surpassing my front foot as I kick, just like this, okay? Now you'll see that I end up falling forwards on this, and this is okay. If you've done a push kick and you've launched your opponent way over there, then that's fine. But this is not what a snap kick is all about. A snap kick is about using your hips to whiplash your foot towards them and get that kind of snapping impact, okay? To achieve that, we've got to keep this front knee behind or maximum level with that foot, okay? So when I throw the snap kick, I'm coming here. This front knee hasn't gone beyond it. It just comes straight back to here each time. Okay, so that's going to be your supporting leg, and that's important feature number 2. So part 3 is hip action. And this is the big difference between the push and the snap kick. The snap is, think of it as snapping a towel, and I have a towel right here. So when you want to snap a towel, let's say I just swing the towel, right? It looks like this. Now, there's nobody running away from you in the showers when you're swinging a towel like that, right? How do you get the whipping action that actually causes pain? You've got to recoil the towel just before it lands on target. Looks like this. Okay, so it's the snapping action. And we've got to recreate that when we're doing a front kick. So how do we do that? Well, remember earlier I said I had hips like Shakira? Well, this is the part that I meant, right? So we got to go like this with our hip. In and out. Okay, so it's out, all the way, and then retract it back again. So as you're kicking, you're bringing your leg right back, you're retracting your hip, and you're getting that whipping effect on the end of the lever, which is your foot, which at this stage should be the correct shape, and transfer that whipping action through a solid contact point straight into your opponent. I did say I have a do not do point for you, okay? And this is it. Do not bring your knee to your chest. Now this can be quite controversial and a little bit counterintuitive as well. This is another difference between the push and the snap. So let me demonstrate. When you bring your knee to your chest here, like this is how you prepare for a push kick. Okay, so you bring your knee to your chest and then your supporting leg, remember how that leant forwards? That's what drives your foot towards your opponent. So it's not your hip, it's your supporting leg. In the snap kick, we want a pendulum effect. Okay, so we want our knee to travel in a direct arc towards, so it comes in and towards the target like this. If I was to go here first, then I'm breaking that pendulum into a kind of like two different vectors. It comes up and out, which gives you your push. Okay, a snap comes like this. It's more of a pendulum. So do not bring your knee to your chest. Time for the drills to get better, okay? So number one, we're going to practice your foot position and your foot shape. The best way to do that, kick a wall. Now, being honest, the harder the wall, the better, because there's a kind of like a built-in natural incentive to do it right in the first place. But in this case, I'm just going to use the padded wall here we have at the gym, right? So here's what I've got to do. Simple, right? Now what I want you to do when you're doing this drill is forget about hip action, forget about distance, timing, everything else. Just focus in on having your foot locked in the correct shape once you hit that wall. And hit it hard, right? Because you'll get feedback through the wall very, very, very soon. If your toes are pointing in the wrong direction, you're going to know about it fast. If your ankle isn't locked in position, you're going to know about it fast. So this is a fast way to perfect your foot shape. So this is the second drill, and the second drill is all about the standing leg, supporting leg. Remember, we want to keep our front knee back or level with our supporting foot, okay, our supporting knee behind our supporting foot. And this has a couple of different advantages, and how we're going to practice this is stretching out some sort of, I've used a boxing hand wrap here. You can use a skipping rope, or you can, I don't know, whatever you're going to set up. But set up something anyway. And what you need to do is you need to practice your front snap kick, and then don't allow your chest to go beyond this line here like this. So this is what it looks like. So my goal is to keep this knee no further than this over my front foot, right? So I don't want to crash through. If I do it, I don't want to go crash right through this and go right through the barrier. So what I want to do is I want to start quite close to the barrier, and then as I complete my snap kick, I haven't gone any further, which means that my standing leg hasn't, or my standing knee hasn't gone beyond my front foot. So I'm using this as a proxy to isolate this, okay? Now, this has a couple of different advantages as well. I forgot to mention this a while ago. This is a big advantage of the push kick, or the snap kick over the push kick, is that I am the same distance away from all my opponent's weapons as I was before I did the kick, while I'm doing the kick. So you can throw a snap kick and not put yourself in any more danger than you were when you started. With the push kick, you might actually fall into that striking range, and if you miss, you're in big trouble. With the snap kick, you can throw it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You're back to where you were, no harm done. Okay? So this is drill number 2. Make sure your chest doesn't travel forwards, which means that your supporting knee hasn't gone beyond your front foot. The third drill is all about the hip action and working on the kick out and the snap back of your hips, which is going to travel down your leg like a wave and give you that whiplash effect, okay? So what we're doing on this is we're going to stand directly upright. No fight stance on this, because I don't want you to have momentum coming into the kick. If you can hide behind the momentum of the kick. What we want to do is we want to kill all the momentum, start from a static, straight up position, and that way the only way our legs have made it out and back is if we've snapped our hips correctly. So this is pure isolation. So forget about the step, forget about everything else, just focus on that hip action. So this is what it looks like. So I want to get this hip action out and back. Out and back. If you do it correctly each time, you will get your feet back to exactly where you started. All right? And this is very important, that you can get that retraction timed correctly. So my final drill on this is to do the kick in slow motion. Now this kind of combines everything that you've done, from hip action to foot shape to, what was the third thing? Oh, supporting leg, right? You can, just like in the last drill, you can hide behind momentum. You can hide behind speed when it comes to perfecting technique. So when you do things in slow motion, first off, you have the time to check that everything is correct. Is your foot shape correct? Is your supporting leg correct? Is the arc of your knee correct? All of these things, you have time to evaluate. Secondly, it's way harder. It's so much harder to do it in slow motion. It takes a lot better balance. It takes strength and conditioning in the hip flexors to be able to hold your leg in that shape and keep it there. This is why dance styles like ballet and contemporary dance are so damn impressive. The shapes that these guys and girls can hold with their legs and make it look effortless. So that's the key behind this drill. Do it in slow motion. The slower, the better, okay? And this is probably the most challenging of the drills. So let's have a look and see if I can still do it. Oh, that hurts. Oh. That really hurts. But back in the day when I used to do this as part of my regular routine, I was able to kick a little bit higher than this, and it really helped. And I believe you should do this for all of your kicks. Spinning hook kicks, back kicks, roundhouse kicks in particular. If you want to improve your accuracy, your control, and your crisp technique, do everything in slow motion when it comes to kicking. Okay, so that's drill number 4. So when you put it all together, you just got to do loads of reps. Okay, so hopefully you've gone through the drills and perfected each one. And remember, that's going to be an ongoing journey. We're going to have to keep coming back and doing that every day, or every time that you practice kicks, right? But every so often you should just let it go and then just trust in what you've got. You can improve a little bit more tomorrow and the next day and so on. Okay, so it should look like something like this. Okay, hopefully you'll see there's a bit of a difference between the snap and the push. And you know who did a really good job of using this in MMA? Was our own Mr. McGregor. He used it against Chad Mendes to drain the gas out of his tank. And I remember him describing it at the time that he was using the snap because the push was easier for the wrestler to catch. And that's really important for MMA as well. Now I also have one variation that you might like to try as well, and this works really well for some of my guys in sparring. So we call it the Michael Jackson kick, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to fake the leg kick and we're going to turn it into a front snap kick. Looks like this. it works better if you do the sound effects. This video right here has my top tips for having a successful MMA career. Right down here is a playlist that follows the SBG Court Fight team and everything that they do. If you have any questions about the front snap kick, comment below. I will get back to you. In the meantime, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring that bell for all the notifications. And if you like this video, hit that like button. That really helps us out. I'll see you in the next video.